Area health officials react to the FDA approving vaccine boosters for immunocompromised Americans.
U.S. troops are preparing to help evacuate the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan as the Taliban gains ground. I'm Natalie Brandt with the concerns about what could happen next, plus an interview with a veteran who was there at the start of the war.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The FDA approves COVID vaccine booster doses for people with weakened immune systems. This is KOAM News at 5. Now, the approval comes after weeks and months of discussions on booster doses as the Delta variant became the prevalent coronavirus strain in the U.S. The approval is for the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines and is only for people who are immunocompromised, like people who have had organ transplants.
We've seen some of those who have had conditions, particularly lung cancer, for example. We've had a few that have had a tough time with COVID. And so I'm glad to see that those folks will now have an opportunity to get that booster dose.
The FDA says eligible people should wait at least 28 days after getting their first 2 doses to get a third vaccine dose. Tonight at 6, we'll have more details on how the rollout of booster doses might work. Freeman health officials say 1 out of every 5 patients admitted to Freeman hospitals with COVID-19 will die. Freeman hosted a media briefing today to provide an update on COVID in their facilities. Officials say they are averaging 60 COVID patients at a time, many of them dealing with severe symptoms. Dr. Rob McNabb says it's those patients with severe symptoms most likely to die.
Almost exclusively, those are the patients who are the very sickest, who are requiring complete ventilator care or more therapy like ECMO. So that is the population most at risk. And currently, I think 20% death rate is just abysmal.
Now, Freeman still operates 3 COVID-19 units, the intensive care unit, the COVID-19 step-down unit, and the medical COVID-19 unit for less severe cases. Hospitals across the country are filling up with COVID cases. In Texas, more than 90% of ICU beds across the state are full. There are only slightly more than 24 ICU beds that are available in the Houston area, a region of more than 6.5 million people. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now plans to roll out mobile monoclonal antibody treatment units to treat a surge of COVID patients. Not so hot today, and even a few rain showers. Doug Heddy joining us.
Yeah, a little bit cooler than what we did see yesterday. Still kind of on the muggy side across the region. A cold front has slipped through with those showers and thunderstorms we had last night. Vivid lightning with those storms. And this afternoon, we have more thunderstorms, but these are mainly in our southern counties. So, of course, we're heading into the weekend. If you're heading down to Grand Lake or Table Rock or Beaver Lake, you're going to have to deal with these storms over the next few hours, and then things will start to improve as we go through the overnight hours. But you can see Ottawa County and then down toward Grand Lake, stretching back through our counties in northeastern Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warnings in Benton County, and these stretch up toward Table Rock Lake. Some showers back through parts of McDonald County in southwestern Missouri. But these are mainly going to stay in our southern counties over the next few hours, and then we'll start to see some improvements as we go into the weekend. But temperatures a little bit better tonight. We'll drop back as we're going to fall back through the 70s, and at least the humidity is a little bit lower. We're going to look at the weekend here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. The Pentagon says most of the 3,000 American soldiers deployed to Afghanistan to evacuate U.S. Embassy personnel in Kabul will be on the ground by the end of the weekend. The situation there is rapidly deteriorating, with the Taliban taking more territory overnight. Reporter Natalie Brandt has the latest from Washington.
U.S. troops are beginning to arrive in Afghanistan as the Taliban accelerates its offensive, now holding more than a dozen provincial capitals, including Kandahar, the country's second largest city. A defense official says the capital of Kabul could be threatened within 30 days or possibly sooner.
It appears as if they are trying to get Kabul isolated. We've planned for a lot of contingencies, and this was certainly one of them.
CBS News senior national security contributor and former acting CIA director Michael Morrell says the capability of terrorists in Afghanistan is going to increase rapidly over the next several months.
We have to figure out a way to collect intelligence without an embassy.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has asked the Biden administration to brief members on the situation when they return the week of August 23rd. President Biden has defended his decision to withdraw U.S. combat troops by the end of the month.
They've got to fight for themselves, fight for their nation.
I lost my right arm below the elbow.
Veteran Mike McElhenney was part of a special forces team on the ground in southern Afghanistan after 9/11.
There was a lot of, blood and treasure spilled over there. We can't continue to send, kids and generations over there. And for what?
McElhenney calls the current situation surreal to watch, but says he believes it's time to get out. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Today, NATO allies met to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. Afterwards, the Secretary General said in a statement, NATO will maintain its diplomatic pressure in Kabul and adjust as necessary. And he warned the Taliban it would not be recognized by the international community if it takes the country by force. Police have identified the attacker that killed at least 5 people yesterday in Britain's worst mass shooting in more than a decade. The shooter, 22-year-old Jake Davison, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The rampage happened in Plymouth, southwest England. The victims range in age from 3 to 66. According to police, one of the victims was the shooter's own mother. Police don't have a motive yet. Well, up next in Health Watch, keeping athletes safe from the heat.
As the temperature climbs, so do the risks to student athletes in practice. I'm Anthony Pura with more on the warning signs for heat-related health dangers.
And later, a look at the growing trend of giving kids debit cards to learn financial responsibility. Topping today's Health Watch, ultra-processed foods now make up 2/3 of the calories consumed by children and teens. That's according to a new JAMA study of nearly 34,000 children. The largest increases in calories came from ready-to-eat or ready-to-heat dishes, including takeout and frozen pizza, burgers, and packaged sweet snacks and desserts. A Nebraska teenager died this week during his first workout with his high school football team in extreme heat. And 2 Atlanta area coaches are facing murder charges after one of their student basketball players died of heat stroke in 2019. The cases are refocusing attention on the dangers that young athletes face while exerting themselves in scorching hot temperatures. Reporter Anthony Pura has more from Los Angeles.
16-year-old Drake Giger was excited about being a member of the Omaha South high school football team.
He didn't care if he was playing or on the sidelines. He just wanted to be a part of the team and around all the guys.
On Tuesday, the high school junior collapsed in 91-degree heat after the team's first water break.
The doctor came in and said his body was so overheated and his organs were working extra hard and that he was very, very sick.
Drake died that evening. Near Atlanta, Georgia, 2 high school coaches are facing murder charges after one of their players died during conditioning drills on a blistering hot day in 2019.
Gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. How could this happen?
Eric Bell's 16-year-old daughter, Imani, died of hyperthermia or heat stroke after collapsing at an outdoor basketball practice. Doctors urge students, parents, and coaches to make sure athletes are hydrated well before stepping onto the field and to recognize the warning signs of heat-related illness.
Headaches, nausea, vomiting, cramping, dizziness, just generally feeling unwell. During that time, you're sweating a lot.
Dr. Marie Schaefer of the Cleveland Clinic says when first starting to work out in heat, it's important to take a measured approach.
They start working out and, they forget that they haven't been as conditioned as they had been previously. We sometimes challenge our student athletes to work a little too hard.
And when an athlete starts acting confused or disoriented, that's a red flag.
Be proactive, pull that child from the game.
Imani's father has this message for coaches.
Every child that you coach, treat them like your own.
Doctors say each school should have an emergency action plan ready to keep their athletes safe from the heat. Anthony Pura, CBS News.
The media reports say at least 4 high school football players have died in less than a month during a practice or conditioning session. A new blood test can help improve screening for prostate cancer. Researchers in Sweden say the test allowed them to lower the number of biopsies and MRIs performed, reducing overdiagnosis of minor low-risk tumors by as much as 69%. Researchers in London have identified 2 gene variants that cause sudden onset high blood pressure in pregnant women. The researchers say the variants caused a nodule in the adrenal gland to produce high levels of a certain hormone, and by removing the nodule after pregnancy, the patient's hypertension went away. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, Google is banning a data collection service from its platform for selling user information without permission.
Plus, we're going to continue to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms sticking around this evening. We'll look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be at least a little better for us today, as most of us have cooled down a bit compared to what we have seen over the past couple days due to a cold front with those showers and thunderstorms last night with all the vivid lightning across the region. And still we have some scattered thunderstorms out there for us now. Rainfall since midnight, not much, only 0.04 of an inch, but for the month a little over 1/4 of an inch. Of course, August is one of our drier months. For the year, we're at about 33.5, average is about 30, so we're a few inches above where we should be. At least we've stayed decently wet throughout the summer months. We've been getting on and off showers and thunderstorms. Look at the storms tonight. So our northern counties look fine, north of I-44, but northeastern Oklahoma, extreme southwestern Missouri, and northwestern parts of Arkansas have been seeing showers and thunderstorms kind of developing over the past couple hours. Some of these strong, even low-grade severe, down through northwestern parts of Arkansas, but these are going to mainly stay in our southern counties. But it's Friday evening. If you're heading to the lakes, if you're heading down to Grand, Beaver Lake, or Table Rock, you're going to run into these guys over the next few hours. But you can see south of Miami, Veneta down toward Tulsa, and then all of Delaware County, Benton County, southern parts of McDonald County, and then southern parts of Berry County, seeing these scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. Temperature-wise, at least better where they are seeing the showers and thunderstorms in the 70s, but where you aren't, we're mainly hanging into the mid 80s, which we pushed 100 yesterday. We had a high temp of 98 degrees, so we don't have to really deal with the heat indices for us today. I mean, it feels upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but way better than what we've seen this week. All right, we're looking north. Looks pretty good. All the cloud cover mainly off toward the south. 85 east, northeasterly winds at about 5 to 10, or dew point at 72, so the humidity is still kind of high. That's going to drop a little bit for us as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures will slide back through the 80s, 70s, near 70 as we go into the overnight hours for us tonight. But most of the rain over the weekend is really going to stay to our south. It will start to kind of build back across central Kansas up through central parts of Nebraska. So we are going to have to keep at least slight chances for thunderstorms in, but a lot lower than what we've seen over the past 24 hours. Let's go through time. Here's 1 a.m. Still some scattered thunderstorms, mainly in our southern counties, and then partly cloudy skies. We warm back up, mainly mid to upper 80s for highs for us tomorrow. We'll start at 70, 81 by noon, high temp of 87, and we can't rule out an isolated pop-up thunderstorm that could pop up across the region during the afternoon. Tomorrow night looks pretty good. And as we head into Sunday, still a very slight chance that there could be an isolated thunderstorm trying to pop up as we head into Sunday afternoon and also Sunday evening. But as we go down the road, let's go into next week. Monday, still slight chances for thunderstorms, but a little system rolls out on Tuesday, and this will give us better chances for at least more widespread showers and thunderstorms by next Tuesday into Wednesday. Temperature is better the next few days. 87s over the weekend, 88 Monday, 89 Tuesday. We do climb briefly back into the 90s Wednesday and Thursday before another cold front slides in on Friday, but still kind of hit and miss storms each and every day. Very typical for the middle of August.
Yeah, those temperatures, though, much better than what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, this week has been smoking hot.
It has been. So
80s are nice.
It's nice to see that, Doug. Thank you so much. Well, hundreds of volunteers in Fort Scott showed up to clean the city's downtown. This is actually a live look at the event. The Fort Scott Chamber of Commerce hosted the cleanup. Officials say around 350 people have showed up to clean and paint murals to help keep Fort Scott's downtown looking beautiful.
This is the best thing about small town, is when people just come together. So we have almost 300 kids, students from the local community college, which is just amazing because a lot of these kids do not live here. They're just here for 2 years, and to know that they care enough about our town, that's just amazing.
The cleanup will run until 6. The chamber provided all the necessary tools, including paintbrushes, weed eaters, and rakes. Coming up, giving kids a debit card to learn financial responsibility. But first, we take time to honor a local veteran. Thomas Cook served in the U.S. Navy from 1967 to 69. The Lamar native was stationed in Vietnam. And we salute First Class Petty Officer Thomas Cook, tonight's four-state hero.
Doug Hetty has earned the
City.com.
Topping Consumer Watch today, according to Motherboard, Google is banning SafeGraph from its platform. SafeGraph reportedly collected users' geolocation data and handed it over to organizations including the New York Times and the CDC. The company is also accused of selling data on the open market to just about anyone with a credit card. Disney swung back into the black as COVID restrictions eased. All told, the entertainment juggernaut earned $923 million in its third quarter. That was better than expected. Disney fans have been returning to its parks in droves, while its streaming network, Disney Plus, reached 116 million subscribers. Millions of parents give their children an allowance. Now, for decades, it was paid in cash, but technology is giving families a new option. Reporter Cindy Hsu has the story.
The earlier that children do learn about finances, the less mistakes they'll make when they do reach adulthood.
That's why Zanaya Dakate got a debit card for 9-year-old daughter Tamia, one designed specifically for kids.
I had to take out the garbage, read my books, and what was the other one? Wash the dishes.
Her allowance and money for chores is put right into her customized Greenlight card.
We really wanted it to be about learning financial literacy, really understanding the fundamentals.
There are several cards on the market that allow kids to get rewards for chores or good grades. That money can be used to make purchases at approved stores, invest, and even donate to charities.
The whole idea.
Dean Brower is co-founder and U.S. president of Go Henry.
All the features are designed around helping kids learn how to budget, how to understand the differences between wants and needs.
Andrea Ferguson Peterson got a Go Henry card for her 10-year-old daughter, London.
I usually tell my friends that I was saving for this or that I was gonna go here and buy that because I had saved up for it.
These debit cards typically charge $4 to $5 a month, depending on the plan. Cindy Hsu, CBS News, New York.
Wendy's is opening 700 locations that will be delivery only over the next 4 years. The kitchens will primarily operate in major cities in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K., with third-party services like Uber Eats and DoorDash making the deliveries. The burger chain plans to open its first 50 stores this year. Got a final check of the forecast next. CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from area health officials about the FDA's recommendation of vaccine booster shots for immunocompromised people. Plus, the OSBI is offering a reward for information to help solve a 47-year-old cold case. And it's move-in day for Missouri Southern. We're going to break down the requirements for students to live in the residence halls. Stay with us for CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Well, 2 newly discovered lion cubs may be the best preserved Ice Age animals. Scientists are now studying the cubs, said to be male, and the other female, after finding their well-preserved remains in Siberian permafrost. Scientists studying the animal says the female, nicknamed Sparta, is, quote, the best preserved Ice Age animal ever found. The male, dubbed Boris, is said to be a bit more damaged, but still in good condition. Scientists estimate Sparta is nearly 28,000 years old, and Boris is more than 43,000 years old. That's an incredible find.
Boris is getting up there.
He's a little bit older. It's
Yeah.
odd that they're somewhat close together and they're so far apart in age.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
That's a little creepy. Something that's a little bit far off too. Our temperatures this week compared to last.
Yeah, it's been super hot this past week, and it's going to be a little bit better. Upper 80s. As we head into the weekend, we're still going to deal with some hit and miss storms, but majority of the weekend looks dry. And then a little better chances for widespread rain moving back in by Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Doug, thank you. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be back here at 6. And thanks for making us part of your night.